Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Today we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin getting a big old dump on Thursday, followed by a little pump yesterday, kind of pulling back now. What is going to happen with the price? We have a pretty good indication of where it's going and when it's going. So if you find this content useful, please subscribe below. Click the notification bell. We would love to have you a part of the channel. All right, guys, so we're looking at the Bitcoin price on the 2-day time frame, and you can see we had this big move down, which we were looking for in the Anthony Lee crew. Check out our Discord below in the description, or go to anthonyleecrypto.com to be a part of this. We're looking for this big move down for a couple of months now. We've been forecasting this, and we finally got the move down. The green moving average you see here is the monthly 55. Even though I'm on the 2-daily time frame, I have it set for the monthly 55. We were looking for a move down here, a target there. Not the ultimate low target, though, just our first bounce and consolidation target area, and I'm going to show you why. We called for this on Thursday, and we nailed it later that day, and we're looking to consolidate a little pump, a little dumps here before ultimately setting at least one more low, okay? A lot of this goes on the current technicals as well as historical precedents of what Bitcoin has done every single cycle when it gets down to this area. So let's take a look at that. Let's go back and look at 2018. I already have this highlighted out for you. You can see we came down. We front ran the monthly 55 in this particular cycle before getting the bounce up, which I believe we're at now, this current bounce up, before coming back and setting another low. And in 2014, we actually got the bounce straight from that area, just like we're getting now, okay? If you'll notice on this area, you came down, you set a low, you kind of wicked the 55, you came back up, came back below it again, and then bounced back up. When you bounce back up this time, you got about a 19% pump to the upside before ultimately rolling back over and coming and setting one more low, and then kind of grinding your way up through the bear market and out of there to the next bull cycle. So we're expecting something similar here. However, if you look at last cycle, we zoom out and look at last cycle, it is undeniable how similar this cycle looks to last cycle. This here looks exactly like this. And if you don't see it, I'm going to throw the pattern on the chart for you so you can kind of get a better little look at it there. Look how almost exact. Now, I know it's not perfect, but it is pretty dang close. If I move this up, you can see it overlays almost perfectly, okay? Maybe the timing is a little off on a couple of these. Maybe a little more pump or a little more dump here and there, but pretty much the structure is the key. The structure is the exact same, and I understand that does not dictate future performance, but we would be mistaken, in my opinion, to not at least consider that, given how similar this looks and how it's performed virtually the exact same way the entire time. So if we do that, let me turn that off and put on our current bars. So we would look something like that, and I drew that from this blue, I almost said green, blue circle over here. Okay, so that's the price action I think we're currently in. Let's take a look at that a little bit closer and see kind of what we would be looking like there. All right, so we had the drop down, we came down, we had the pump up on this candle, right? And we're looking for a little pullback here, just a little pullback here, okay? And where's that pullback going to take us to? Wrong tool. My bad, guys. Bear with me, guys. I'm prepared, I promise. All right, so we pulled back here to about, you can see the blue line's about the 0.5 fib and kind of danced around there, 0.5 golden pocket here for about 2 weeks. And then we came up and set one more high and then came down and set one more low, okay? And we've been calling for this for a long, long, long time now. So we're looking for this move right here. I'm looking for a little pullback. I would consider a long if we pull back to somewhere around the 0.5 to golden pocket area. I would consider a long. And what the market maker is doing here, guys, they're convincing you that this is as low as we're going to go. This is the bottom is in. They're going to consolidate for a little while, consolidate, and then they're going to false move up, induce a lot of people to go long thinking this is it. It is a super cycle. We're moving ahead. We're going to the next bull run, 250K incoming. And then they're going to go, all right, back test, bullish back test. Look at us. Here we go. Long, 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 long. Boom. And they're going to wipe everybody out because everyone's going to have their stops below the low, right? They're going to wipe everybody out one more time before ultimately consolidating and then pulling up and away. Okay, guys, that is how I think this is going to play out. I think it's going to play out virtually exactly the same as this, okay? Either way, That's a little further down the road. Not too much further down the road, though, believe it or not. And we've looked at that on the channel. We looked at it on the live stream. Matter of fact, go visit the channel. Right here on Thursday, we called for this move down. Nobody saw this move coming, but the crew, the Anthony Lee Crypto crew, we called for this on the live stream on Thursday. We go live every Monday through Friday at 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. We go live for the U.S. market open. We do live analysis and live trading. You can come watch my trades live as we trade the market open. So back to the chart. This is kind of what we're looking for in the interim in the next couple of 2 to 3 weeks. Let's go see. This is what we called for. We posted this up on Thursday. Thursday we said this is what we're looking for. We were up. Where were we at, guys? We were right in here, and we said we're looking for the big dump down. That would be target 1, and that's what we got. And we analyzed the 2 previous cycles. The cross, the red line here with the cross, that is the monthly 5 and 13 EMA cross. We've been looking for this. This has been on our chart for a long time. Looking for this cross to get us down to the 55 for the first stop, and that's what we got. In previous cycles, it took 26 days and 35 days to get to that first target. This particular cycle, it took 18 days. So we're running a little ahead of schedule here. And then they consolidated around. The second set of stats is the consolidation. How long it took for it to consolidate around in this area before coming down and setting the ultimate low, okay? And in previous cycles, it took 47 days and 40 days. How long it will take this cycle, we don't know, but it is so far moving ahead of schedule. And you can see the percentages on these. The percentages for the drops is remarkably similar. The drop down before the first consolidation was 26% and 24%. So far, we've got a 19% pump. This is the pump, excuse me, the pump after the first low. The pump, we've got 19% so far. Prior cycles, we got 24 and 26 before pulling back. Not to a low, excuse me, before pulling back and then ultimately going on to set the final high before the drop. And that total final high was 35% and 35%. So we will be looking in the area of somewhere of 35% from this low to this high before we come and set a new low, okay? That is what we're going to look for, at least based upon historical precedents, guys. So that's kind of where we're at right now with this. Same thing with your altcoins. We looked at some altcoins. We did some altcoin trading. Altcoins are following Bitcoin similarly. They're not done. Even when Bitcoin does set its low, when Bitcoin finally sets its low, wherever that may be, altcoins, most altcoins rallied a little and then ultimately rolled over and set a new low as Bitcoin continued higher, okay? So be careful with that. There were only a handful of altcoins that did not roll back over and set new lows. So kind of unsure what's going to happen there this cycle as far as alts go. A lot of that's going to be dependent upon Bitcoin dominance, so we'll be watching that a little closer. But I would suspect that most alts are not done even when Bitcoin is done setting their lows. I would suspect they come. I think that every single altcoin comes and takes out its October 10th low. If not, its ultimate low, all-time low. So we'll watch those a little closer because we do some spot altcoin trading here on the channel. We're going to watch those, but as for now, we're looking for a pullback. Then we could look to buy some alts for one more pump up before coming back low and looking for our ultimate buy somewhere below our October 10th low here. So that's my game plan. I will start laddering into some alts at this point. But right now, we're just trading and accumulating alts. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. That's your Bitcoin update. We're looking for a little bit of a pullback in the next few days to next week or so, and then another pump up. That's going to take us about 2 weeks, and then one more drop so that we get an ultimate low. We do have our targets. Watch our previous videos. We have our targets, but we're targeting somewhere around the 55K area. You could actually even dip into the 40s if you come to that 786, which you have come to every single cycle before. Doesn't mean you have to this time, but I'm a buyer somewhere around the mid 50s, somewhere in here, 50 to 55K, but you could get that last little liquidation wick like you did last cycle. Okay, you didn't in 2014. You just came down and set a low, consolidated, boom. But in the 2018 bear market, you consolidated and then hit one more little wick down before moving up. So unsure about this wick at this point. Just be prepared for it. We are looking for somewhere between 50 and 55K-ish to start our bigger buys on Bitcoin. So somewhere in there, 50, 55K, with the opportunity of going down to, say, 40, up to 40K. And it can happen, guys. It can absolutely happen. So institutions are involved. I forgot to mention that. One more thing, institutions. Everyone's like, institutions this, institutions that. Institutions will never allow price to go down there. You're wrong. You're very wrong. Institutions are not in this for you to make money. In order for them to make money, you and I have to lose money, okay? In fact, in the last couple of days, the number one seller of Bitcoin causing this crash has been BlackRock. BlackRock hits a record $10 billion in trading. And this article goes on to talk about more than 434 million Bitcoin dollars exited the market in the last couple of days, with 40% of that coming from BlackRock's ETF fund. 40%. So they sold over $200 million worth of Bitcoin on you, and that's not all. It gets worse. Look at their ARK Invest portfolio. They have loaded up in the last few hours all of these orders, okay? Now, they haven't sold them yet, and they may not, okay? It could be a fake out, but it's unlikely. They're not in the game to fake you out, okay? And it lines up with historical data and what the chart currently looks like on technicals, which we didn't really go into much on this video, but they have absolutely loaded up. Each one of these is about $20 million worth, and that is 20 orders of about $20 million of Bitcoin, so about another $400 million loaded up here on their Coinbase account, just ready to dump on you guys. So be careful. Be careful. The institutions are not in this game for you to make money. They're in here to confuse you. They're in here to manipulate the market and take your money. So be very, very careful. If they dump all these coins on the market, you can look for a very similar dump to what we got on Thursday, if not worse. There are a enormous amount of shorts that piled in right here at the bottom, guys. So those have kind of started to get wiped out with this move up, but you can imagine how many people are thinking this was the low and they're fixing to start longing. If they dump these, you could see a massive, fast, long liquidation candle down, guys. So be careful. They have their guns loaded and they are ready to pull the trigger. So be careful with your longs right here. I'm telling you, this dump is not over. Even if it consolidates for a couple days and fakes you out to the upside, this is not over, okay? So be careful. We will update you here in the crew when we think it is over and when we are loading up our bags and our long entries. So join us. We would love to have you. Other than that, guys, I will see you next time.